Hi guys, today I want to share with you 10 things we still don't do in our homeschool. It's been 4.5 years, I think, around that time that we've been homeschooling, and there's still some things that we don't do in our homeschool, so I would like to share those with you. Hi guys, it's been 4.5 years that I've been homeschooling my kid, and there's still some things that we don't do in our homeschool. I would like to share those with you. There's 10 things, and I will give you one as an extra bonus. The first thing that we don't do in our homeschool is co-ops. We don't do co-ops. I feel like going to a co-op is almost like being at a private school or a public school, where you go to a building and you go to a classroom and you just do some stuff there. I as well don't do a co-op because they require a certain amount of time from you, and at this point I work outside. I am a single mom and I don't have the availability to do that. As well, I feel like those fees that we are going to be using to just go towards the co-op or just participate in a co-op, I can just use those fees and that money to just create those activities for being able to enjoy whatever we need to enjoy, or put it towards curriculum or other activities that we can create here in our homeschool. So that is the reason that we don't do a co-op. But if you do a co-op and it's working well for your family, I think that's better for you. Kudos to you. And remember that I am just sharing this with you guys as a way to just let you know that that homeschool can look very different. Not everything has to be the same. Just because we don't do co-op doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing co-op. It's just giving you an idea, and you might share the same feeling as I do. So I think that it's a good video to just let you guys know how we do homeschool here in our home. So the second thing that we don't do is that we don't stick to one method. We don't stick to one method of homeschooling. I think that if you have seen my channel, you can realize that we are an eclectic homeschool. We like to just use different type of materials, and I don't just have one method of homeschool. My homeschool, I cannot say is more towards Charlotte Mason. I can't say that is more towards any particular method. I just have an eclectic. I grab from each thing that I see, and I think that is going to work in our homeschool, and that's how we do homeschool here in our home, correct? I don't stick as well to one curriculum. I don't stick as well to one curriculum. I don't stick to one company. I think that that is the beauty of homeschooling, the availability of you to change things if they need to be changed, to be able to grab from here and there in order to make it work for your kid and make it work for yourself as a teacher, correct? And I think that by just having that mind, that open mind on just being able to use, from the different sides, I think is been working very well for us. And the fact that I don't stick to one company or one curriculum just because I want or I like or I am attractive to that type of method, correct? Or that type of program. I try to see if it's working for my kid, we continue with it. If it's not, I just try to switch whatever it is. I always give it a period of time. Obviously, it's not good to be constantly changing programs, especially when it comes to math, which is something that you need to have like a certain consistency, or reading, which is something that as well I consider that needs a certain consistency. So I think that besides that, if I see that he will benefit by changing the program because it's not working for him, or changing the company that we are using, I will do it immediately without even hesitating, as long as I know that it will work for my kid, correct? The next thing that we don't do is morning basket. I do I do not do morning basket. I think that we do read alouds when we want to do read alouds. I do a Bible every day, so I don't need a morning basket because I know it happens every day. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night, as long as it's happening. Bible is something that I consider very important, and I just, as long as we do it every day, I am good to go. Another thing that we don't do is poetry time. We do have poetry books in here, but I don't do or take a time to poetry in a specific, the fancy way. If you do it the fancy way, I think that's awesome. That's great. I wish I can do it, but with the time and the schedule that I have, it is impossible for me. I am one and I work outside, so I think that it's just a little bit complicated for me at this moment. Would I like to do it? Yes, at some point, if I have the time, I would like to do some fancy poetry here and there, but I think it's not a necessity as long as you are providing your kid with that. I think the fancy way is not that important. Yes, it gives an extra motivation, but if you don't have the time, you don't have to feel bad about it. You can just go and keep doing poetry without having to do it the fancy way, okay? Another thing that we don't do in our homeschool is letting my kid stay in his pajamas. Not because there's a problem with that, but I just feel like if you wake up and you at least dress yourself, whether it is with some shorts, he can wear some shorts and a simple shirt, and myself maybe some leggings and a simple sweater just to be at home. I don't have to be completely well put, like formal, but I do want to dress and just feel like I am awake, I am ready, and just going through that process of just dressing a little bit to do homeschool just help us. At the beginning, I let him do homeschool in his pajamas, and I really didn't care. And sometimes we still do that if we are not feeling in the mood, or we are sick, or we don't feel well. I can just let it go with the pajamas, but usually I try to at least dress in something simple, something comfortable. But we do like to dress. I don't like him all day in his pajamas, because if we have to go outside as well, we are not going to be able if he's wearing pajamas. It will take us longer just to get ready and prepare just at the last minute. The next thing that we don't do is follow the trend. If you notice, and you've been here in my channel, you know that I tend not to follow the trend. I might have slipped somewhere here and there, but not all the time. You see me using programs that I have get to have them free, like example the Harcourt trophies. Those are very old books, and the History Alive is not something that is new, and I am still using it here in my homeschool. I just like them. I think it's helpful. Some people don't like it just because it's coming from the public school, but just because it is coming from the public school doesn't mean that the program has anything wrong with it. It's actually a good program, and something that I still like to use in my homeschool. If I don't have to purchase something, I don't do it. If I have it already in here, I will give it the use that it needs to be given, and it's something that I like to do. Something else that I don't do, at least not now, is purchasing without control. I want to have certain control with what I am purchasing, and I created a video in regards consumerism, which I noticed that I have a little there of disagreement, which is fine as long as it is respectful, correct? But I don't see why purchasing things out of control. I started to get into that at the beginning of our homeschool, and I catch myself doing that, and I am just little by little simplifying things and just having some control with what I am purchasing. I noticed that I purchased some things out of control, and it ends up hurting our homeschool because right now I have those things, and some of them I am not even using, or some of them I used for a very little period of time, and now we are not using that anymore, correct? So I think that having a control with what you are purchasing is very important. The next thing, and I think it will go hand by hand with whatever I am going to say from now, is that I don't let what anybody else thinks affect me or affect my homeschool. I noticed that when I create that video of consumerism, it was a very small, it was like this, of a disagreement with that. And guess what? I can't do anything about that. We are different people, we have different brains, and we are not going to think the same way. And it's good to disagree, it's good to agree and disagree, correct? And expose those points of view without being disrespectful, without trying to make pressure for that other person to think like you. I just exposed something that I noticed that is been happening actually here lately with homeschooling, where everybody feels like they want to get something, and by something I mean money-wise, out of the homeschool community. And I feel like there's a lot of consumerism, and now everybody dedicates to homeschool. And now all the companies are creating materials for homeschooling, and the price, you have to notice that. If you talk to moms that are seasonal homeschoolers that are being homeschooling for a very long period of time, and I'm talking like years and up, you're going to realize that yes, it's happening. It's a consumerism. It's just selling this in here, selling that in there, and it's okay. I understand you might want to purchase something because you feel like purchasing, because you like it. It's okay, but you have to have a certain amount of control, because at some point, whether you feel like it will affect you or not, it will, believe me, it will affect you. So you have to have that certain control within whatever it is that you're purchasing. I am not saying that if you want to something because you just like it, you enjoy a book and you feel like it is attractive to you, you're not going to purchase in that. What I am saying is that you have to have some control. If you can find that at the library, you can save some money. You are in a low budget, you don't have that much money, then you can save some money by utilizing your library, your local library, and getting that book if they have it there. I still buy some books just because I feel like I like them. I feel like I am going to benefit from the information that will be shared. And I still purchase books just because I feel like I will benefit from that information. Maybe I have searched in my local library and they don't have it, and then I purchase the book. So it is a necessity? Probably not. But I think I will just benefit from the information and then I buy it. But I am controlling more what we are purchasing, whether it is for homeschool, for my home, or anything else. And I noticed when I moved that it was just chaotic, especially for me, that I am one moving all the things that we had. And some of them I realized I had some books that I purchased that I didn't even have the time to read, and it was just an accumulation of things. And I noticed that when I moved. So I am trying to control now what we are doing here, not only in our homeschool but in my home as well, correct? As well, I don't do grades, but that doesn't mean that I don't test or quiz my son. I just don't use the actual formal grade, which is A, B, C, D, whatever it is. I don't grade my kids' work. I do correct them and let him know, look, you might need a little bit of help in here. Sometimes I don't even say anything to him, and I just go, and if I see that he needs help in a certain area, I just try to provide that information so he can just have more practice and develop in that area that I see that he has some weaknesses. Okay, but that does not mean that I go straight for and grade. I don't have a problem if you grade your kids' work, I think there's a benefit from it as well, from grading your kids' work, because it might serve as a motivation for some kids. Just seeing that grade there, saying that is A or B, it just serves as a motivation for them. And some kids do crave motivation in that way. So if that is your case, nothing wrong with it. I am just saying that I don't do that in my homeschool. And the last one, and it's the 11th, correct, is that I don't do homeschool 5 days a week. We do homeschool 4 days a week. And we just have pretty much every day we do reading, math, and we do every day as well grammar. The rest of them we do maybe 2 times a week, maybe 1 time a week, depends on the subject, right? But most of them we do 2 times a week. And then the last day, which is Friday, we use as a fun Friday. So we are still homeschooling, but we do games. And I do love games. I do like to incorporate games. I do like as much as we can to be able to have those games there. Especially that Fun Friday for me is everything. Sometimes I use my Fun Friday as a buffer day. And if he hasn't finished a subject or we didn't do a subject for any reason, and I think it is important that he needs to do it, then I use that Friday for that, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it gives you an idea on how we do homeschool here in my home with my kid. And I hope that it just lets you know that not every homeschool it happens the same way, that not everything has to be that you don't have to do things like anybody else does it. You just create, and it will depend as well on how your kids learn, their learning style as well, your learning style. It will depend as well on how is the environment, how you want your homeschool to look like. And obviously we all are not going to agree on certain things, and it's just how you present that to others, correct, in a respectful way, and not to try to force your opinion on anybody else. If you don't agree with something, that's fine. Just like if I don't agree with something, I tend not to, sometimes if you notice that, I have to say this, I tend not to comment on anybody, because I feel, not because I don't want to comment, or if I comment, I am very careful, because I don't have to agree with what you're doing, and you don't have to agree with what I am doing. We might not agree on everything. I might get from you what I think I can get that I can apply in my homeschool, and you might get from me what you think that you can get and apply to your homeschool that will be helpful. I am not trying to say by any means that because I am sharing with you guys this is because this is how you're supposed to do it in your homeschool. That's not what I am saying. What I am saying is, and what I am sharing is here, is how we do it in our homeschool. And if you see that something that we do in here fits on your homeschool, then hey, go ahead. You can do it as well. But I just want to share that. I think it's very important that we are all respectful of that, and that we can just understand that not every homeschool is going to be the same. I hope this is helpful. If it is, please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you then. Bye bye.